It's 7:05 on Wednesday, November 14th. We're going to call this meeting of the Rec Committee to order. Start with the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So you all know me, I'm Jennifer Rue, I'm the Town Administrator. On behalf of the Board of Selectmen, they want to thank all of you for your willingness to serve on this committee. This is just fabulous that we have so many people here, so we look forward to all the great and wonderful things that you guys can do together. The first thing that we need to do is have you all sworn in. So in front of you, you all have an oath. So I'm going to have you raise your right hand, you're going to repeat after me, and then we're going to sign and file them away. So I state your name.
I, Brian Ambridge,
do swear
to
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of this state
and the laws of this state
as a Town of Acton Recreation Committee member
as a Town of Acton Recreation Committee member
to the best of my abilities.
To the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very good, thank you. So if you want to take a minute, see where it says signature of appointee. I need you to sign those and I'm going to collect them.
Could I borrow your pen?
Yes, you may.
Nope, it's in my other jacket. I washed mine.
Oh my gosh.
And if you want to just pass them down this way.
CW, use that.
I need to borrow your pen. See this appointee. What's the deal?
It's okay.
But it's not.
Right here, the
Yeah.
What's the date?
signature.
What indeed mine?
Stragglers over there?
Yep, 2.
Dated, Jen?
No, you don't have to. I'm going to sign them all. Perfect. So you're all officially members of the Rec Committee. Thank you very much. What I'm going to do, my job tonight is simple. We're going to go through the election of officers for the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. And remember, as we've talked about in our prior meetings, these positions, especially the chair and vice chair, the purpose of them is to keep conduct at the meeting and to run and make sure that everything, the votes, it doesn't give them any more power or authority than anybody else, okay? And you guys will decide as a group what you want from the secretary, what you want from the treasurer, all right? So, first thing we're going to start with is the chair. The easiest way to do this, I've made ballots up for all of you, is if you are interested or you would accept the position of chair, I need you to raise your hand. All right. So all of you are going to look around. You see the people that have raised their hand?
Thank you.
Okay, everybody's good? You're going to choose one person on your ballot. We have candidates Lisa and Jonathan. You're going to write one of the two names on there.
Pen.
Don't put anyone else's name on there because they didn't raise their hand. Really. Hold them up.
Yeah, I have the jacket's full of pens, but I put on my coat because I think it's winter.
At least.
I like a jacket. Moto jacket. Moto jackets.
Love the game.
As do I.
This just gets
There's
That's
10,
only 10. There should have been
because
one.
we're missing.
Oh,
we're
Brittany's not
one
here.
or
missing
two.
Brittany.
Oh, Brittany.
I don't know.
She's a tiebreaker.
Okay, we're going to go on to the treasurer. Anybody here interested in being the treasurer of this committee?
Oh, me.
Carol. Anybody else interested in being the treasurer of this committee?
No, just
No. So seeing none,
It's easy.
we will waive the election and appoint Carol as the treasurer of the rec committee.
That was
Thank
easy.
you. Nothing to do with it.
Secretary. Is anybody interested in being the secretary of the committee? We have one person. No one else? So seeing no other nominations, we will accept Bridget as the secretary of the rec committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
I don't do anything.
Okay, so tonight by default, I'm going to have Jonathan run the meeting as the appointed chair. At the next rec meeting in December, we will vote again. Hopefully we have all 11 members present. Okay? So Jonathan, you're going to run the meeting tonight.
That's fine.
Everybody, before you guys leave, make sure that you choose a date in December, or maybe you want to meet again in November, and we'll go from there. If the same thing happens, Lisa will run the next meeting, and we'll break it eventually.
What about vice chair?
I'm sorry? We're not gonna, I don't want to elect a vice chair, because chances are, out of the two, whoever gets the vice, the other one,
Right.
whoever gets the chair, the other one may be interested in the vice chair, so it's really not fair to do one or the other. What if just for
Harmonious.
procedure, just for procedural.
Just gets it
Jonathan's
moving
gonna
along.
run it tonight. You guys are gonna
What
get
if-
going,
What if
and
Brittany comes later?
too late, I'm leaving.
Okay.
She's not sworn in, so she can't vote anyways, so she can't, she
okay.
doesn't have any authority. She can come see me during regular business hours, we'll get her sworn in. Remember, whenever you post your next meeting, you need to let me know so I can get the film here, get it advertised, posted, all your legal beagle stuff. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, you guys have a good
Thanks, Jen.
night.
Bing, bang, boom.
Thank you, guys.
So now Bridget has to keep the minutes.
Yeah, Bridget, you can keep the minutes to
Thank you.
keep us in line. So I printed off on the Facebook page, Carol and I put together a rough agenda for the day. So literally I've just printed that off, and we'll just go from the start. I mean, first of all, we had Treasurer's report, that it's probably a little bit
Yeah.
premature to
Yes.
be doing that, but we can certainly start with that. And I think we should start all of our meetings with a report from each of the secretaries, just to get back up to speed about where we are. So next on the list was storage, which
Yeah, so I just got into the gym with Chris at the beginning, like literally the day before basketball started. And I just would like to maybe a couple of us get together and consolidate everything in the gym, not store things up at the shack, you know, up at that shed up there that shouldn't be stored there because we lost a lot of stuff from the
Yeah.
rodents. And the other thing is, I was wondering if Bridget or Chris or whoever could order up, you know, some nice sturdy Rubbermaid totes that aren't broken and, you know, with lids so that we can get stuff stored properly, all in the gym.
we're talking about the gym just across the
Yeah,
road.
we have a closet over there. It's not the best, I mean, it's not the best.
Is it secure? Is it locked?
Yeah, it is, you,
It's not locked, the
No,
door's
it's
not locked.
You can get into it, anybody can get into it. The door to the gym's locked, but once you're in the gym, you can get into it.
Is Jennifer ordering a lock? So, think,
so maybe that's something you guys could follow, Chris could follow up on. And then like to order us some totes, so that we, when basketball's over, I can put everything I need, you know, in the totes.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should do this officially.
Yeah.
I would second that motion if we want to vote on that, to order up the totes for the thing. I
Yeah.
say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Looks unanimous, so let's put that forward to get done. So moving on to the next item on the agenda is basketball. Carol again.
So we have a pretty good turnout for basketball. We have a total of 57 kids participating, which is pretty good. 2 first and second grade teams, and then one of, you know, each of the other levels. And Bridget and Chris got us in the loop with Shapley, Alfred, and Limerick to play, so we're traveling all over the place, which is great. However, it puts Bridget, Chris, and I in a position, if our kids are in Limerick, we really don't want to be at the Acton gym supervising the games. So we really need to lean on the rest of the committee, specifically the people that aren't coaching, you know, because it's not fair to, you know, if Lori and CW have a week off from a game, it's not fair to say, hey, will you go sit at the gym for 5-6 hours on Friday night, which is about how long Chris and I were there last week. You know, you have 3 to 4 hours worth of games plus your setup and your breakdown, you know, and it consists of babysitting the hallway, making sure that the big doors stay closed to the lower and the middle school so that nobody's traveling down there, because there's a lot of people at the school. The school's really strict about the rules. You know, you have to patrol the hallway, make sure no kids are unattended. You have to be the bad guy, really, you know, like, hey, where's your mother? Oh, we're just going, nope, go back and get your mother, she needs to bring you to the bathroom, even if the kid's 8th grade.
Right.
Nobody's roaming, and it's kind of a, whatever, but it is what it is. That's the hard thing about basketball compared to our other sports.
So not every team is in Limerick at the same time?
No, we're playing all 4 places at the same time. Yeah.
So what's the schedule?
Every Friday night, and there's only probably 2, like Bridget and Chris are in Shapley this week, but I will be in Acton, so I can do this Friday. The following week, there's literally.
So do we know what
I can
days?
tell you what days it is, so, let me just really quickly look. This Friday, I'm good. The next one, Chris will be there, I won't, so the 30th. I won't be there, so I would need at least one person to help Chris out,
Okay.
I do have somebody to run the clock for the whole season, so that's not an issue. And I'll have the refs and stuff, but it's literally being that person to be there with Chris, to patrol the hallways, to, help him out.
What time are we talking from and to?
So the first game is at 6, you'd want to be there no later than 5:30.
Okay.
And then that's actually not a bad one, because there's only 2 games that night. So the last game gets over at 8 o'clock, and you'd probably be done by 8:30, 9 o'clock by the time you break everything down. You have to literally clean the whole gym, pick up all the trash. I think I threw away 30 water bottles and candy wrappers and chip bags, and whatever they bought from the concession stand was trash in the bleachers. So literally, you got to pick all that up. You have to raise up the hoops because the school doesn't do it for us. Chris knows how to do it, but it's second person needs to be there, because he almost got killed Friday night by one of the hoops. So somebody's got to be there so that if somebody gets killed, they can call, the morgue.
Pull him out.
What other dates do you?
So we got the
So
30th.
the 30th, we need at least one person.
Okay.
On the December 7th, we will need, Chris, are you off that week? Yeah, Chris is off. So again, Chris will be available, but I won't on
need
December
one.
7th. So you'll need one person. December 14th, we'll need at least one person. December 21st,
We're in what, there? We're in Chapley.
I will need one person to help me out, and I'm sorry, I take that back. Yeah, we're gonna need we're gonna need one person to help me out running the game. And then January 4th,
What about the 28th?
no game the 28th, school's
goody.
closed.
Okay.
January 4th, you said?
Yep, January 4th. Sorry, bear with me one second. We'll need one person. And then January 11th, we'll need one person. So basically, every week,
you need one.
we need one, because either Chris or I won't be there. I don't really count Bridget, because she is in charge of, she doesn't run it, but she's in charge of setting up the concession stand. But we've agreed, Chris and I have agreed in, our planning for the season, that it's too much for whoever the liaison is to do the concession stand and run the sport. However, the concession stand is an important piece, because that's how the rec department makes some extra money. So really, it's up to the rec committee, not the liaison,
So who
to cover that.
Can I volunteer for the last 2 games?
For the covering? Or
I can't do any in December, because
Yeah.
I just have way too much going on,
Yeah.
but I'll do the last 2 in January.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm putting Joe down for the last 2
Yeah.
in January.
Yeah.
Who else on the committee? I mean, I know Laurie and CW are coaching anyway, so that kind of rules you.
Well, if we're there,
We're
it's not
not
a big
there.
deal, but the last couple of weeks, the couple in between, we're at another school,
We're at
so.
another
Yeah,
school.
they
But-
can't.
Can't be
They're
there.
coaching.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
of
we're
course.
there,
The 14th, though, you're.
Just a matter of
if
staying
you want
longer.
to be with Molly, you didn't say that one, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you
Chris
did?
is there.
Okay, the
Chris is
7th
there
and
on the
14th.
14th.
Yeah, she
Okay.
said she needed one.
I can certainly do the 14th and maybe the 7th,
Okay,
but I can definitely do the 14th.
okay.
Okay, so that leaves 2.
No, 3.
Lisa, would you be
30th.
available?
7th,
on the
21st.
16th?
You're right.
Lisa will do the 16th.
16th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's next week.
Lisa, 16th.
You mean the
Did I have the
Tomorrow,
16th?
yep.
You mean the 14th?
Oh,
Oh, 16th of
November.
Oh,
Yeah.
16th of November, sorry, yeah.
November.
Friday.
I didn't think
Friday, excuse me, tomorrow.
Oh,
Lisa's,
we needed that date, this Friday?
We did, she thought she did.
Yeah, Chris is in Shopley, at least for the first half.
What
You
date
got
is
kindergarten
this
break.
Friday?
Then they got
That's this
George's
Friday.
and
17th.
George is in Acton this week.
so yeah, we got, so we need somebody for the 30th,
Lisa's
the
done.
7th,
And the 21st.
and the 21st.
Kindergarten always been that.
Yeah, we're in that-
And all, the times are different, right, you said?
So it's always 5:30.
We just allotted 5:30 to 9:30?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
All right.
about what time Chris and I got out of there.
okay.
Because there's a couple where, my schedule didn't have it. Okay. Yeah, okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
What we saying, Virgil?
Yeah, home.
I know with the concession stand and stuff like that too, but, and I will be there to help set up and stuff like that, but if moms don't step up, which I feel like we're gonna have a problem with that, maybe the committee could help out as well, because it's a lot with my 4 kids.
It's too much.
So,
In that gym, it's not like
how
at
would
the,
we put that
at
up
the
to
They're
field.
loose, they can,
Yeah,
yeah.
at that gym, there's no place to, no way to contain
Corral
them.
I always say yeah to things, but this Friday was hard for Ribby. So, we're gonna, I'm okay with setting it up, buying the stuff and everything like that, but it's like a
The coverage is hard for
a
you.
long process. So if I did break it down, like I said to one mom, I think it was Ashley, if you think about it, we just need 5 more games so if you get 5 moms, it'll work.
That will do the whole
How many,
night,
how many
or top
teams
of the
have we
night.
got in terms of basketball?
4, right?
No.
5.
We've got 5 teams, we need 5 moms. Why don't we just reach
A mom
out through
from
the
each.
coaches to try to
Yeah.
just get one from each team to,
Just have to
Just do
arrange it
one
when their
week.
kid's playing that at Acton, yeah.
maybe we could get something printed up they could just hand out, you know, like,
Yeah, that
you know,
would-
like you do with a potluck, just what are
Yeah.
you gonna do, which week is good for you, and
Yeah.
then hopefully get them to.
I know
commit.
I did that tonight. I went to, that's why I had to go there before I came here, because they didn't have, they have a big team, the first and second grade team. And a mom needed to step up and sit on the bench with the kids, because the kids were out of control Friday night, and the coach was like trying to coach and trying to referee the kids on the bench. So I just went tonight and said, okay, I need mom volunteers. You guys can take turns, you can do whatever, but somebody's gonna sit with the kids. And they were like, okay, yeah, no problem. So they might do the same thing with the concession stand.
So how many little things would we need to just print out? What would you say, how many kids was
Well,
there?
we've got, I'd say 60,
60. It's no problem, we can do that.
and then we can hand them out.
Yeah.
Now, did Jen say anything about, I remember her specifically saying something about the monies with the concession stand? Not everybody can handle the money?
So Bridget always brings the money,
Okay.
and then Chris will always be the one.
Balance it too.
And I also have a binder, so basically when I come in, like I actually have one, a sheet. Well, anyways, it just tells you how much is in the drawer and whatnot, and I have a sheet prior, what the rec did before.
Yep.
I think Devin Lau did it.
Yep.
And just like, and then I want the box counted, so Chris will count the box at the end, I count it in the beginning.
Yep.
Is that, I guess
You
that
kind
would
of take
work?
inventory.
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
Sounds like it
Do you
works.
take like inventory too, or do you go that far?
I
See what's
don't.
missing? Okay.
I didn't, yeah.
You just,
I don't
well, that's
know.
okay, I mean, you just kind of gather up what you've
It's
earned.
usually some good reliable moms and.
Yeah, I didn't know if that you maybe got them.
And the way it's set up, nobody's walking away with anything. Because it's on the stage, and everybody in the bleachers can see it. You know, you're in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Chris was sitting there this week, working, selling, being the salesman. Did you get a chance to fix the glass on the hot dog steamer?
No, not yet.
But I'm gonna use my crock pot this Friday.
I've been out in Waterboro, so.
I smashed the whole
And that was
thing.
the other
It's fine.
thing, if any of the committee, since it is the committee's concession stand, so to speak, if anybody on the committee wants to make a crock pot of something and drop it off with Bridget, the more the better.
And the hot dog steamer, I think is the PTG's, it's not ours. So we
Okay,
might, in the future, might wanna look into,
buying one.
cause the PTG was missing theirs, and I'm like.
And we
okay.
mysteriously had one.
We might know where that is.
We had it.
we could just say, we had it, but it's no good.
So I'll do it, and I froze the bread and I froze the hot dogs, so I'll get that out, the day before, and then I'll just cook the hot dogs before we come. And we can even do things like chili if the rec committee wants to volunteer, or a mom, you know, volunteer for some meals that night.
Why don't we throw it onto the printout that we're gonna go
Barbecue.
put into the thing,
Okay.
then anybody can volunteer, and I don't know whether we're allowed to just say anybody can bring anything with allergies and stuff. I don't know what the,
Well, I think if you bring something, you have to, you know, maybe
Just a-
let Bridget know
What is
what's in there.
Yeah.
Label
you
it
know.
like you did at the chili cook-off.
What did you do with the chili cook-off?
Just label what was.
yeah, I just have to label what was in it.
Yeah.
Something that I think we'll definitely make money on, because I think I got so much like upset because I cracked the hot dog machine, and that was my kids' dinner that night. And you think those, you know, I think we'll definitely do good.
On dinner type things.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's at night, and
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
us
it's
come
late.
straight from work.
Like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, I got soda, and you said, let's do a thing where soda,
Soda,
bag of
chips, and-
chips, and a hot
Yeah.
dog, and then,
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a little meal deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
idea.
save a quarter.
Good idea.
Is there eating allowed in the gym?
No.
It never was.
Nope, and we need signs. That's the one thing, I forgot my sign on Friday, and we have to be big on that. No chips, no nothing in the gym. And I told Mr. Ross that, so it's great that at the end of the day, at the end of the games, that you guys clean up everything,
Yeah.
because no food is allowed in the gym.
So we'll have to really
So we
patrol
need
that
to-
a little more. 'cause I
Coaches
wasn't
need
aware
to
of
patrol that,
That's okay.
then
But the
coaches need to say
kids can
something
have
to the
water
kids.
bottles.
Can I have water bottles, yep, just no food, no, if I do hot cocoa, if I do coffee, even, unfortunately, the parents can't even have coffee in the stands watching their kids. They're
Okay.
not allowed to have any food.
We need to put some signs up, because I didn't even know that.
That's okay.
But we can mention that.
And we can mention that, each coach should be mentioning that to the
Maybe in
kids.
practice, we can mention it real quick at
Cafeteria.
the beginning of a
They
practice.
put the tables down in the cafeteria for us, so
Plenty of
if
room
you
in
go
the
get
caf.
something to eat. Yeah.
Plenty of room there. People can still sit there, they can have a coffee.
It was
They can
never
have a
allowed,
sign.
so
You
we
have
couldn't
signs
even bring
that
water
we
bottles
can
in the
hang up,
day.
Bridget?
We weren't
You
even
have
allowed to
signs?
bring
I have
water
them on
bottles.
poster board.
Perfect.
There you
Yep,
go.
and I'm just gonna tape it in
This
front
is
of the
the reason.
table.
Yep.
Yep.
So, just no food in the
Is
gym.
there a sign on the gym door, or not?
I don't think,
think so,
there might
'cause they're always
be.
open.
There
I
is
did
a sign
decorate for
somewhere.
the,
I just wanna make
Somewhere.
sure
There
that
is
people
a
that aren't
little-
buying concessions know that, because I know kids were bringing a backpack full of snacks and sitting on the
Yeah.
bench
they
eating.
just
Well,
have
we
to
never
sit in
used
the
to be able to
cafeteria and do it.
No, even water we weren't
Never
allowed to
even
bring.
supposed to have water
No
bottles.
water
or anything,
bottles or
For the
anything.
reason
Can you
that,
send an
the
email
simple
out to
fact
the
that
other,
someone has to
the
clean it
other
up.
schools,
Right.
whoever's doing that,
The
send an
others,
email.
I don't have any contact information for the other schools. Bridget has that.
If you can, why don't you shoot an email out to the other coaches that are
Should we
coming?
suggest?
The visiting
To say,
schools.
Oh, yeah.
something we forgot was,
Email to the other schools?
yeah, just to give them a heads up so they're not,
Knowing it's
so the
half a
coaches
battle,
want to
so.
feed their kids to it, so.
the more
I would imagine that
communication you
most
give.
schools have probably got the same rule for the simple fact that
Yeah,
someone
it's
has
clear
to
Yeah, clean it
clean
up.
this up after, and if it's not done, then the school has
It's
to do it.
pretty hard to clean
And
spills up
whoever
off bleachers, because it gets under the
Right,
bleachers.
we didn't even
and-
have,
We weren't
we
even
couldn't even
supposed to
have
bring
water
ba-
bottles or anything way
You
back.
had to have basketball, separate basketball
sell something, you
shoes.
could
Yeah.
Walk in with
You could
your
also
street
be
shoes
like-
and
That's
bring
right, yeah.
basketball shoes.
Please
Yeah.
no
A
eating.
lot of the
shoes.
gyms,
Yeah.
it's still that way where you're not
I'll
allowed,
remember.
the people watching are not allowed to bring anything, no drinks, no anything. Like when
So-
I've
I
been
think
to
that's a
several
good
different.
idea, actually.
So the only other thing is the first games, went really well. We got a lot of positive feedback. Of course, being the first game of, the season, there were a few things that had to be tweaked, but I think it's going pretty well. So far, so good, so.
Did we ever find out whether the nets are supposed to be raised up or swung away?
They just have to be raised up.
Okay, because they were swung away
Yeah, I cranked them up the other night.
at the
I
practice
just dropped one
again.
just for our practice. We
Yeah.
didn't need, but.
Oh, I know what I forgot. Tracy Scully from the school has offered to do individual coaching clinics where she will visit each one of our practices and work with the coaches and the kids and, yeah, it's awesome. And so it's gonna start next week. Next week, the only practice will be the Tuesday night practice because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Wednesday's a half a day and then the school's closed. So you guys are the only ones with practice, and I just found out about this right before this meeting that she was gonna
Coach
do
the
it.
coaches, like,
It's just like a coaching clinic, but she wanted to do it with the kids. She didn't want to just do it with the coaches, so that she could kind of see what the coaches are dealing with, type of thing. So she's gonna start on this week. Lisa's actually the one that communicated with her for me, And so she's gonna start, she said she could start this week, but we only have the one practice this week. So
Sure.
she'll start with them, and then after Thanksgiving break, she'll hit up each other team, probably not
Come out
kindergarten once, and then if the coaches say, hey, that was great, you know, can you come back again? I'm sure she
great.
will. She's really super excited, because she's
Awesome.
like,
She's
you know,
one of these kids
she,
later, yeah.
yeah, she likes to do it, and obviously, the better, the more skills our kids pick up at the rec, the better it is for her when they hit the junior high. You know, and that's what she said.
She's grooming them.
Is she interested in doing a coach's clinic for the other sports also and ongoing with the coaches? I mean,
So-
separate.
Lisa talked to her about it.
When I spoke to her, I said, ideally, moving forward, we would like to have a coaches clinic for every sport before the season starts.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for basketball, so I said, how would it work for you? Would it be like a Monday you could do, and I could just say, however many of you can get here? Or would you try to come to each individual practice? Like, what would work for you? And she said, well, you know, she's really busy right now too, because she has basketball every day and school and home life, but she said she could start with the Tuesday practice and then like make a schedule from there on out. What she could do, when she could do it.
Nice.
Should we talk like as a committee maybe at the end if she keeps coming back to do something nice for her?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get her a gift card or something,
Yeah.
would be awesome.
I know that moving forward, it would be nice to reach out, even if it's not somebody that coaches at the school, if we know of someone that runs clinics, maybe we could, you know, oh, you run soccer clinics? How about you run one for us, or whatever. But going into it, it would be nice if our coaches could go to some sort of a training. Because I know, you know, I might love to help with basketball, but I don't know the first thing about it. So if somebody wanted to teach me, that would be great. And I think that we have a lot of people that would love to help, but they just don't know how to help. So if we could offer these clinics, then we might have more
Well, I think we
parent
could open that up to the
participation.
community. Yeah, you're right. It would probably open us up to more coaches as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Which has got to be a good thing. Take some of the
Absolutely.
pressure off everyone.
Win-win.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Carol. Next point on the agenda is the ice rink. Chris, where are we with that? Is it still missing? Is it in transit? Where is it?
It is coming in the 14th today, so it was being shipped today. I know the info on that because I got an email from Jen. So basically, they're going to deliver it here. It's heavy and it's going to be on pallets.
How heavy is it, do we know?
It's that a truck needs to take the whole pallet off, so however they deliver it. So I thought the field, when I was talking to Carol at my house the other day, but they're like, we don't want you going to the field by yourself with the kids, with the truck. And I was like, okay. And then we thought about, you know, if we just left it sitting at the field, somebody could get into it and take it. So it is being delivered at the town hall, but we have to be here. Somebody from the rec has to be here to help unload the small things. And they
And
said
when
it's
is it
being
arriving?
shipped out today, so it'll be 2 days from today, and they're gonna call when it's on its way within the hour.
So Friday.
Nice.
Yes.
If it's on
Right.
pallets,
I mean, I
go
can
from
meet you,
here to
John, if
sit
you're
to the rec.
around, or Lisa.
I'm available.
How many
Yeah.
pallets is it on?
They didn't say, they just
Who had
gave it the
who-
email. I
They
have
did
gonna get
say the
transported
trucker
from
would
here to the rec.
unload
Oh,
the
they
pallet.
They have a way to, oh,
Right,
so
but
it's
how-
gonna
So
be,
that's what I said, we don't have a forklift, how do we get the
Probably a
pallet?
drop tail.
the only other way of doing it if it comes on a lift gate truck.
Yep.
They use a pallet jack, come out to the lift gate, they
Yep.
can drop it in the parking lot, they can move a
So,
pallet jack on hot top
Here's
only.
here's the email, your
Other
easy
than that,
ice
you're stuck with it after
60-minute.
that. You've
Yeah,
gotta put
how's it
back
gonna
on
get from
something.
here to
Set up the
the
ship on
rec?
the 14th.
We're gonna take it off
We'll
the
receive
pallet.
tracking
We can just
information.
break
Yeah,
it
but
down
if
and
it's
put it
X
into
amount of
small
pounds,
sections.
then
Our
he's gonna be able
warehouse.
So
to
you get
lift
the
it.
tracking
a lot of
information in
pieces,
a couple
okay.
days. so
Yeah,
it
we
might
can
not
just
be
break it
for
into
like
smaller
sweet.
pieces.
The day before the
Carry it
rink
down
is
to maybe the
delivered, the
shed.
shipping
Are we
company
sure
will
about
call to
that?
set up a
Yeah,
delivery
we
definitely
ordered it.
small
window.
pieces, yeah.
Your rink will be
It's not
delivered
in-
by the
it's not
shipping
one
company
huge
in a
piece.
Yeah,
pallet
no,
to your
no, no.
driveway. Although the
What
pallet
they do is they put all the pieces
will
on a
be.
pallet.
it's gonna be a lift
Let's hear
that you-
Bridget's email. Let's hear what Bridget's reading.
Okay.
It's
So-
one pallet.
Your Easy
it is?
Ice 60-minute backyard rink is set to ship on the 14th.
Heard what she
You will
said.
receive tracking information within 1 to 2 business days of your rink leaving our warehouse. The day before the rink is delivered, the shipping company will call to set up a delivery window. Your rink will be delivered by the shipping company on a pallet to your driveway. Although the pallet will be too heavy to lift, all Easy Ice components are light and extremely easy to assemble.
So it's just a lot of pallets.
You're gonna need somebody here just to unload the little things, and then the heavy pallet will have to sit until, but Chris offered with the truck, you know, the guys wanna get together, help unload the pallet, then it won't be too heavy and then lift
Can
it
you
onto
just
the
read
truck.
that one part about the shipping dates, because I'm just a little concerned. It said it
Information
ships
within
the
one-
14th, and you'll be notified 1 to 2 days after it ships with tracking information.
it's not
gonna be
Yes.
So I don't think it's gonna
Next
be
week.
Friday. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
be next week.
Probably
Okay.
like Wednesday.
Beginning of middle of next week, probably. by
Did
the
they give you a
time.
tracking
Like
number
Thursday.
or
Only after it
anything?
ships
You haven't
and
gotten the
stuff.
tracking
Ships, they will.
information?
That's
Not
two
yet.
days,
In
I don't
2
think.
days.
You'll get that in 2 days.
think it's gonna
I know that something like that is, where's it coming from?
Didn't say.
I
Did
think
it say?
It's in the US.
Yeah, but is it
Minnesota.
Texas?
Minnesota.
See, it's,
It's a couple of days. What it'll be a couple of days to get it to here, to New England.
Boston,
Canada.
Boston, Mass.
Oh, good.
I was going from Boston.
Yeah.
oh,
You know
so
what?
maybe it will be
It was a
here.
br- it was
Maybe
already-
here tomorrow.
If it's just, if it's just
That's how I
coming from
noticed.
Boston,
Oil
That's how I knew about
Coming
that.
from Boston, it could be here tomorrow.
that would be awesome.
No.
Well, I'm
So,
around all this week, so,
I'll be
so whose number do they have to call?
the town.
we're calling the town. Jen gave all that, or maybe Michelle, who ordered it for us, Michelle?
Michelle did, yeah.
So, we call
Okay.
Michelle.
Well, I'm around, so, I think, yeah, Jen's got my number, so she can give me a call or give you a call, and I can be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So,
And the shipping, it said the shipping company will call her with like a window. So
yeah, yeah.
you at least know.
Roughly.
It looks
Are you, are
roughly
you
a
working
6-hour
nearby this
to
week
12
or no?
hour.
Okay, so let's assume it's arriving, this week, next week. When are we gonna think about, are we just gonna wait for it to get cold enough? Or are we just gonna pick a date sometime in December to put it together?
I think we should put it together
In Nov-
first.
Yeah, should definitely put it together as soon as it
It
gets
can sit
here. It
there
should be a
until-
project for the weekend, right?
I mean, we're looking at possibly getting snow Friday,
It can't sit there.
and so I think that the best case scenario is to put it together before there's snow on the ground.
Yep.
So if we get snow Friday, then we've got to,
Who would want to help out with that?
I will for sure.
It's gonna be in the 40s and in on Saturday.
So we have, we need men.
Getting in next week anyway.
I don't know how much the women can do, but we could be there. So we have Chris, John, who else? You guys.
For what? Putting it
Depends on
together?
what it is.
It's,
It depends on when it actually comes.
Yeah.
Chelsea Reed.
it's
Well,
out.
here's the thing, is it, until such time as it's got water in it and it's frozen, to some degree it's a theft risk. Because somebody could easily get in there and just take it apart. Once it's frozen,
Or
it's,
vandalize it.
yeah, once it's
Correct.
frozen, it's pretty
So it's not
solid
like
and it's
we
not
can
going
just leave
anywhere.
it there, right.
So,
Where are we gonna store
I
it in the
literally
meantime? Because we
think
can't
it's
just
only
leave
gonna
it in
take
the
an hour.
parking lot of the town hall.
I think it's a 60-minute.
well, I mean, I've got room to store it if it needs storing.
Do we,
But
does anyone
it's-
have a, I don't, so I can't offer it up. What if we, when they unloaded it, if someone had a trailer they could unload it onto?
Yeah, I have a trailer.
Would that work, you think?
Yeah.
And then you could,
Okay, good.
Just trying to think if I've got a hitch still. I think I still have a hitch. I got the trailer, I have to work out the hitch part of it.
If we know a day ahead of time, I can have a trailer. I just need to know a day ahead of time so that I swap vehicles with my husband for the day.
So when we find out about the phone call, when it's coming, obviously Chris or I will get that phone call. I'll put it on the rec committee page and then we'll just update everybody
Yep.
and, okay.
We'll just, yeah, I'll say
And
what
I
we
think-
can do and when we can do it.
look into what it's gonna look like to be setting up.
Yeah.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
because I would like to get it up and filled as soon as possible, so it's not just sitting there where somebody
Yeah.
could just take parts of it away.
Kind of think of rectangle.
Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we actually get it here. Okay, ice rink done. Next on the agenda is electricity and flagpole, Chris.
What?
Flagpole's in.
Yeah, and
Do we have lights to it now?
not yet. I haven't been down there to check. I know the power did get run because of the tape in the ditch.
Yeah, they were there the other day when.
All right, so we have power in there now?
So,
So last time we talked, the conduit was run,
the conduit.
but the trench wasn't built, buried back
Because
up.
Dave wasn't sure when he came
Not
back to
buried,
fill
but it's
it.
there.
And they're not gonna turn the power on with that conduit
Correct.
exposed. So
So
we
it's
just gotta get
sitting there.
Dave back there?
So we got the line in, but
Think
it's just
so.
exposed.
And I would assume that it would be the same thing as it is with residential or commercial. Municipalities have an agreement now with CMP that code enforcement has to call and have power turned on.
Right.
And they won't do that until that's buried safely. And I don't know this, but I think it'd be well advised to ask code enforcement, because he also does inspections and services as part of his job. And I would assume that you'd want the code enforcement to inspect this for liability purposes, to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, and how it's supposed to be.
Sure.
I think that sounds like a
Yeah.
great idea, don't you, Elise? For insurance purposes.
So who liaises with code enforcement? Chris, I'm guessing that would be you.
Could be you.
Could be me.
Okay. So if you could do that, to get him down there to have a look before we can get it buried, because nothing can really happen until that happens.
Because we potentially could be ice skating, I mean,
Yes.
it's 18 degrees out right now. We
Yeah.
could be
I
ice
know.
skating.
Tomorrow.
In 2 weeks, we could have it all set up and have our first Saturday skating. And
Right after
realistically,
tree
if we
lighting.
could get the power on.
But I know CMP won't power that up with that underground.
No, I know that
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely not.
So it's
probably
just a
looking at
matter
at
of
least
giving
2,
Ken
3
Paul a
weeks.
call and setting up some time with Ken, is that right? Is that correct, or?
And getting it buried.
Right, well, get it looked at before and
And
then,
typically,
so-
code enforcement likes to inspect it before it's buried anyway.
Right.
yeah, that shouldn't be very, but depending on his schedule,
Get the backfill too.
And
pretty
then he
reasonable
likes
to deal with,
And it's,
so.
at least it's close by.
He's a great guy to deal with, so it should be just,
Yep.
Bing, bang,
I
boom.
guess it's that simple.
Hopefully.
And,
Get out there.
So if Dave's too busy to bury it, how much trenching are we talking? I mean, is this
Well,
something
he's
that
gonna
we
haul-
could
He's
do?
gonna have to haul some, he's gonna haul some loam back in too.
Okay.
right.
So there is a little bit more.
So it's not just throwing the dirt.
You gotta, put so much sand under it, and I think like a foot of sand over it.
I can't-
With a safety ribbon in there.
The safety ribbon's in.
So it's not something
It's
that we
not
could go
something
up there
that
and
we're gonna
shovel
With a
it.
safety ribbon, you still need to, there has to be above and below sand,
Yeah.
and then you can fill it.
Yeah.
So,
It's not something that we could just take a shovel and do then?
No.
You can if you
I'm
have,
With a
impatient.
shot.
I'm very impatient. Like if nobody's gonna do it, just, you know,
Oh, he's
I'll
gonna
make
do
my-
it. He said he'll be right
No,
back
Dave,
So
after it.
that's the kind of power in, once we get that sorted. But what about the lights themselves? Have we worked out, because I know there was gonna be poles, but then that was kind of decided no poles, we're gonna fix it to something
no,
else?
we didn't decide no poles.
No, it was, somebody decided somewhere, there was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then there was a solution for the flag to be lit, and then somehow they were gonna figure out how to get lights to.
So right now, we don't know how the lights are gonna be elevated.
So who
barely
do we
have the
see about that? Elise, do we come to you guys for that? Yeah, to decide how we're gonna
This
do
is
the
what,
lighting.
this is what I'm confused about, not to talk over anybody, but Chris put a number together at budget time. And town meeting voted to spend $12,000, or whatever the number was, Chris.
$14,933 and some change.
You know, so it wasn't this random like, oh, it will cost around 15 grand. It was right down to the penny.
yeah.
That town meeting voted on to put light poles in, the flagpole, and have it done right, done nicely.
Yep.
And then somehow that got pulled out from under us and we ended up with power. No pole, you know, what the town meeting voted on was putting these light poles in, doing this, doing that. Like it was a specific line item in the warrant. And I don't understand how it got changed to, now we're like, okay, we've got power, let's mount a couple of spotlights on the snack shack, you know? Like, and rigging it, you know, it makes me crazy. Because I think it's not fair to the taxpayers.
It doesn't feel like
taxpayers
it's gonna
either.
give the right kind of illumination that we wanted.
It's not
It's about
what the
flag.
potential was. Chris went out, he spent time getting pricing. The floor at the town meeting voted to have it done a certain way.
So
And I
what's
don't
the
understand-
issue?
I don't understand why it's not done that way.
Why isn't it being done that way?
I don't know.
I don't know either, it wasn't me.
It wasn't Chris, it was just kinda like,
But where did we hear it from?
somebody's gonna wanna know where the $15,000 is.
Oh, not even that, then why hasn't it been done that way, and how do we get it fixed the right way?
Talked
Right.
to Craig, we talked about it, then we talked about getting on Target down from Westbrook, because they're the only ones that could do the polls for us, and it's was $1,000 a pole roughly, he said. So he passed the word on to the hierarchy, and then it got changed from there on, and I don't know when.
So who did you hear it from, Chris? Who did you hear it back from that it wasn't going to be poles anymore?
Jen.
From Jen. Guess we need to speak to Jen about it then.
Yeah, because I don't understand, I don't think it's fair to the taxpayers, I don't think it's fair to the rec. You know, the taxpayers voted on the townspeople voted on something at town meeting, and that's what they expect to see, and I don't like having, I mean, it's honestly, and I've said this before, you go to Shapley, they've got beautiful fields. They come to ours and we've got, broken bleachers and, everything. We just look like, and if the townspeople are willing to pay for us to have nice light poles and nice lighting, in a safe parking lot, we're going to be ice skating there. It gets dark early in the winter, just having a spotlight off in the snack shack is ridiculous.
So coming in from behind, I'm confused. What did they vote on and what are we getting at this point?
How much money was put towards what we've already done, I guess?
The town meeting voted, Chris knows the exact figure, $14,733. That's what they allotted for that specific project to come out of our capital improvement to put light poles, electricity to the snack shack, 2 light poles, and a flagpole.
The estimate came from someplace.
Yes, Chris had estimates.
Right, no, so.
Right, and then as we moved forward, we were told
That wasn't happening.
that we weren't gonna get the poles,
That wasn't
that we weren't
happening.
gonna get the poles.
As for now, I think.
We're not getting the poles, we're
light.
only, because of money or because of?
The contractor
Why?
It's not because of money, because we had the
I
14,000.
bet you it was just because something couldn't happen the way they wanted it to happen. They maybe had to jump hoops.
We
to
were
get
not
somewhere.
told that we were never gonna get it. We weren't told that by
Who's
Jen.
they?
It was just, as of now, we're just like, we're getting the power to the shack and da-da-da-da-da. It was kind
It
of.
seems like we're getting little drip fed.
I mean, it wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't like we definitely weren't. It wasn't like, no, you're not getting this. It was just, this is what we're getting now type thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that could be
Phase 1
it.
or phase 2?
The problem with that whole theory is,
We already had
this
someone.
is downlighting you're getting, okay?
How it all works.
You are planning on having an ice skating rink up there.
Yeah,
This downlighting was gonna light up the parking lot
yeah,
where you're putting the ice skating rink and the concession stand.
yeah.
And where it stands now, even if you get the power secured, you're all gonna be up there in the dark,
It's not gonna illuminate anything.
because there's not many lights there.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's more, this isn't a criticism of anybody, there's more than one outfit that sells these light bulbs.
Sure.
There's more than one electrician that can do the work. I mean, the town approved this stuff in June. This stuff should have been started moving forward in July. And now you're up there with frozen dirt. And so you got that to deal with. And the ice skating rink's a nice thing, but what's that gonna do, try to have lights up there?
No, you can't do that. You'd have a liability
We'll
issue.
just have to
health
have it
liability.
watered during
Yeah.
the day.
You know,
No
there's
skating at
many
night.
electricians that have been dealing with this in the past, whether it's at the school. The scoreboard at the school was done voluntarily by Brian Richards. He wired that up. Free. The concession stand down at the school was done by Richard Chevalier voluntarily. Walter Moss and I dug the ditch and Richard did all the electrical stuff. So there was electricians that I used at the school, for example, but they didn't have any part of any of that. Because I found people as well to volunteer to do this stuff. And quite often, there is somebody, and I don't want to put like my nephew in a bind, but he is a licensed electrician. And he's done volunteer work.
Where is he? Basketball practice?
I would think if you talk to him, that he'd be willing to donate. And he does the same quality work as any other licensed electrician. And I don't know, I just think, I mean, you guys don't even have anybody to fill the darn ice rink yet.
Actually, we do.
Yeah.
Ed Walsh is gonna do it for us.
I mean, that's fine, but there was quite a discussion on trying to get that done.
Oh, it was terrible. You know, our own fire
I mean, we're
department
coming
wouldn't do
into it, so
but
I'm
thank goodness
confused as to
Ed
why you don't just
stepped up
call
for
someone
us.
and have them do what they need to do, and whose job is it to
complete
call that
ignorance on
person
some
to do
of
what they're
this
supposed
Well, I
to
think that's
do?
the trouble. It's been, there's been no structure here before to kind of decide whose job
But
is
is
what.
it
so
the
it's-
board's job, is it Chris's job, is it the town's job? I'm confused at that.
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, the Board of Selectmen, that's their warrant. And the things that the townspeople vote on, ultimately, they're responsible for that warrant. And you're responsible to make sure the will of the people was followed out, you know?
So it's
Chris
not
as
up
the
to us to
director-
do that, it's up to
Well,
the-
no, but it's our department, and we gotta make stuff happen. If we fail, then the selectmen say, hey, you were supposed to do this, you know? And then Chris, this is my interpretation from the conversations that we've had as we're forming this committee and the things I know about town government. Chris is the director. He's the, you know, he's the one that goes out, he gets the prices, you know, and, if he needs help with that, I feel he would come to the committee and say, hey, who can help me? I've got too much on my plate for this, you know, $2,000 a year. You know, like, what can you guys do? Can somebody, you know, handle coordinating with Ken Paul for me? Or can somebody find an electrician or, you know, whatever, reach out for help, but he has to ask the committee, you know, because if he doesn't, the committee assumes Chris is handling it, you know?
I think the original breakdown when we started with the power was we planned, yep, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have that, we're gonna do this. We're gonna start doing it this day, and when we tried to move forward is when we were told, no, that's not quite how we're gonna do it, and then we were like, oh.
Told by who, though?
Well, that's what we're saying. I think it was Jen that said, no, we're not gonna do the polls, we're gonna do this instead. So it kinda kept setting us back, like, nope, not that, we're gonna do this instead. Oh, okay, well, we're regroup. And we only have a meeting every month, so, you know, almost a whole month could go by before we were able to move
things
forward.
Fall
And
through the cracks.
now
So
we're
it
in
has to
November.
go through
And I
the
think some of the
board every
problem-
single
Well, I
time there's
think-
a question? I mean, I don't know how this runs, so I'm trying to figure it out, so.
It's infuriating.
So in the past, I know that the rec committee, let's go back 10 years or 15 years, you know, when they built that rec field, they sure as heck didn't have Jen coordinate an electrician for them, an excavating person for them. You know, the committee
wouldn't think
just,
so.
this is what you have, you know, this is what we have to do, let's get it done. And we scheduled everything, I mean, not we, I wasn't there, but they scheduled everything. And the only thing the town hall did was write the checks when they needed to be a check written.
That's what I would think.
You know, and I think that that's where we get off track a little, is like, if you say to Jen, who do we use for an electrician, she's gonna tell you the town's electrician. 'Cause
Well,
that's who
or
she
do we
calls.
say to Jen, do we have to use a town electrician, or can we use whoever?
I
We had
did.
3 bids,
We
or,
did.
I mean,
I think what we need to do moving forward is, we need, like, from Elise, from the Board of Selectmen, we need your approval to say, this is our project, this is our budget that the taxpayers gave us. Can we just move forward with that? Like, okay, we have $14,000 to spend on lighting, can we make that work?
That's all kind of new to me.
Well, can I just ask a
Right,
question?
right. so-
Every other department of the town has their budget and they work within it.
Well, yeah, and just go
They
to
don't
town.
go to the, you know, it's like when we tried to purchase the ice rink. My mind was blown. Like, we have the money, it's our budget, it's what the committee voted to do. Order the darn rink.
well,
Like,
I would
don't
think the
understand.
ice rink would have to have approval from the
For
town.
what?
For insurance and liability reasons.
Well, that, but we already had that a year ago.
Oh, okay, well,
We
I,
had that a year ago. You weren't here and I wasn't here. But at one of the meetings, we had it a year ago. But the ice rink just got ordered. Like, like, we need selectmen's approval. We need to know if it comes from capital improvement, if it comes from this, and blah, blah, blah,
I think
blah, blah.
everybody's like all new, you know, it's all new to everybody, and Chris, I could think
Well-
Chris and I, Chris too, like, we leaned
I'm
on.
not blaming you.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, we just leaned on you know, Jen or advice,
Yeah.
and now, you know, we are moving forward as a committee and we're all learning.
And there wasn't much of a committee before.
Yeah, I
know.
mean, yeah, so.
But I just think moving forward, that the town gives us a budget to work within, and as long as we don't overspend that money, as long as we offer the stuff that we are supposed to offer,
Yeah.
I don't know why it's such a negotiation over whether or not we put light poles in.
The price of the ring, it had to have 3 quotes,
Yeah.
and we used the town debit card to purchase it. So there's, you know, some sort of procedure.
I
So what is
understand,
the,
but it's been almost a year.
What is the
Right.
parameters for that? So
It
just so
drops
we
off.
know, where
We
does
just
it
drop
cut
it
off?
off,
Where it's, we need 3 quotes or we just need
Wait till
1?
next year.
Is there a price?
For what?
The ice rink?
$500
No, no, so
cutoff.
what-
Every
I'm asking-
$5, so everything goes out to bid if it's over $500?
$5,000.
And how much?
Well, the rink was under 5,000 then.
Was.
Yeah,
The rink was under
Under
5,000.
5,000.
Three something.
3 something, yep.
390 something.
So
your
moving
question?
forward, if we're looking to purchase something or do something
As
that's
long as
under
we-
$5,000, we can
Just do it.
do that as a committee. As long as we have the vote of the committee and
See, that's
it's
what-
safe and
This
follow.
Is that a
the
definite, or is that
Beginning,
we
we didn't
think?
know the governing politics of how we
Yeah.
could do things.
Right, so let's
Absolutely.
get it done
Under
now.
$5,000.
Well,
Over
right, so I don't,
5,000, it goes out to
so we could go forward at this point.
5,000.
And, he has a question, go for it, what's your
Yeah,
question?
go on it.
Under 5,000.
And it's still the committee over 5,000, but we have to put it out to bid.
Right. CW has a question.
Yeah, only because we weren't directly involved in this stuff earlier in the spring. If there was it back in June or July, this came up, the lighting and electricity, is that what you were saying?
June town meeting was when it was
Yeah.
passed.
So, the money was passed to do lighting, light poles, those kind of things. There was estimates for that stuff,
Yeah.
obviously. So, I've heard the word "they." Who is "they" that stopped the process or the procedure or the companies that gave the estimates that were gonna do the job? Who's the "they" that
Said no.
said no? Or, Chris, you mentioned that you're not sure where confusion happened, so I'm just asking what,
Somewhere along the lines, Jen changed it, or we're getting,
Okay.
like, maybe like.
so
Lisa-
Jen is the "they"?
Jen said we can't have polls.
You see what I'm saying?
We
No,
leaned on Jen.
Let me just clarify what I'm trying to ask, and I'm not being
I
critical
don't
of
think they
anybody.
even know.
Absolutely
If
not.
there's,
I think we are
if
all-
there was estimates and all that stuff, and people lined up that were willing to do this, not that there was dates set to have it done,
Right.
what happened to those people or those estimates that, so Jimmy Joe said, I'm gonna put up 3 light poles for X dollars, and I'll do it as soon as you get approval, I can do it within 60 days or 30 days or whatever it was. What
Well,
happened to all that?
I can answer a little bit of that for you, Chris, because I was.
Well, I don't
working
mean
with-
you, I mean anybody, that's all.
Yeah, I was working with Chris on, like, trying to push that forward back in.
So this
you
gets
know,
tied up in the
August.
town? It
Back
got
in
tied up a little
August,
bit in the
and
town?
we started in August and September, I was working with Chris on that. And we couldn't get, like, the electrician, wouldn't return, we were told to use this electrician,
Oh,
okay? And
We actually called your,
yeah, we made, and so then I said, well, this guy, we tried to get this electrician, the town's electrician. He wouldn't return phone calls. Chris called him, I was standing there when Chris called
the
him.
electrician might be
You
able
know,
to hook
and
me
he
up,
wouldn't
but someone has
return-
to do the dirt work
Right,
and the physical
and
put.
we had Dave Winchell volunteer to do that, right? from the-
Lighting?
Not to dig the earthwork,
But as
right
far
from the
as-
get-go, and we had a backup plan. If Dave couldn't do it, Chris was gonna get a mini excavator and do it. You remember John? John and Chris were gonna do it.
But as far as these light
But you had to have a
Can they do
flagpole
that
company,
legally
a
through
light
the
pole
town?
company.
Without
and as long as it-
Hold on, let's try to talk one at a time.
Can
Let's
the
an-
town
so-
legally do that?
So let's let her answer the question.
So we had all those things lined up, but what, the people we were told, the vendors we were told we had to use. Chris, I was standing there with him many times when he would make phone calls, and they would not call him back, they wouldn't answer.
Okay.
And then we'd go and say, and I went to Jen and said, these people aren't calling us back. Can we use another electrician? And she said, I would rather you use the town electrician, but if you want, it's nothing written in stone, you can use another electrician. So I said, okay, so I started making phone calls, and then the town's electrician was available. So I said, okay, we're gonna go with him. right? Isn't that what happened, Chris?
Yeah, because you called your cousin.
Yeah, I reached out to Jeremy, my cousin, because he's a licensed
Last check,
electrician,
what
and you
was
reached
that
out to
for?
some from work. So then he's available. So we put all that on hold. And so then Chris goes up there, we're gonna meet up there at the soccer field. Chris and I and John spray painted where the flagpole went. You know, we made the marks for where we wanted the trench, like we got it all laid out. And then Chris went up there and sat there for 3 hours.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, nobody showed up. So then the following Tuesday, we get a hold of Jennifer, and that's what's happened through this whole thing that's pushed it back to this.
Took a really long
But it's
process.
frustrating because if we as a committee could say, okay, we've got this money, we're gonna give this, like what I do at work, you know, I put it out there, I get my bids, I pick the electrician, if he doesn't show up the day that he's supposed to,
Then we
he
go to
goes
the
in the
next
garbage
person,
and the
yeah,
next one in line
exactly.
comes. But we couldn't run this project like that because we were all inexperienced. All of us,
And
in
the other thing,
running
I
a
think, is
project
that
for the town.
We didn't
So
have
that's
any
like-
autonomy in it. It
No,
was, everything
correct.
seemed to have to go back through Jen and through the.
That's right,
the
but
team.
if we have the power of a regular committee to say, okay, we've got this project, we've been approved the money by the town meeting, let's get our electrical quotes, let's get our earthwork quotes, let's get this and that, you know, get our quote for our poles from these 3 places or whatever, select our vendors, and have the checks written, and it would have been done. But because everybody's been so unsure, you know, all of us, me included, were unsure. Now we're in November, the ground's frozen, and we don't have what we want. So now we're
And it's gonna
limited
cost
for
you a
the ice
fortune
rink.
to try
How do we move forward? Let's not look
So
back.
one more question before that.
We asked Elise what the answer was, and she said as long as it's under 5,000,
We don't
can
have
just
to put
do
it out
it.
to bid.
If it's over 5,000, we have to put it out to bid. And I say we start running our own projects and just go to the town to have the bills paid like every other department in this town does.
I think that's a good idea. Do you want to, I would second that. So are we going to vote on that? That we're going to then get the autonomy to just move forward with that?
And does that mean every single thing is 5,000, or does that mean?
Anything over 5,000 has to go out to bid.
That's a town is that per the whole project, or is that per, I think it's,
Per
say, light
trade,
poles?
per trade,
Per tree,
per trade, right?
Well, per
Per
trade.
trade, because you're hiring an electrician. If the
Individually.
electrical is over 5,000, it goes out to bid. If you're hiring an excavator, if you're spending $5,000 on poles, then you have to put it out to bid.
So if you had a general contractor that
any
did everything, it was
bill, any piece of it.
14,000, we would have to get.
It has to go out to bid.
Okay. Then the
And then
other,
if the total is over 5,000,
Yep.
okay.
so the other question that I had was for,
I've got it down here.
what is the liability for the board to say, like, they're saying, well, we would just go up there and dig the ditch and put the stuff in, or rent our own excavator and go do it ourselves?
Well, if code enforcement
Code
says
enforcement
it's not up to
inspects it,
code,
there
then
is
that
no
would be our
liability.
liability, I guess.
They've done it for years. Like
I don't
he
know,
just-
I'm asking.
Well, he said earlier that they did it at the school, that they dug the trench for the concession
But
stand
as
at
a
the school.
business, or as
No,
me and
as
my
the
husband
tax-
going up there and doing it
volunteers.
ourselves?
The rec committee did it,
So
because it was the rec committee's.
it would still be
Snack shack.
subject to
So code enforcement
code
still has to pass
enforcement
it,
standard, yeah.
as long as it passes that.
But there are certain things that you have to have, like a master electrician.
Right, that's
for the
right.
code
But we were
enforcement to do
talking
it,
about,
but-
like,
Okay, this is gonna start running late, so
Or
let's,
rent an excavator and go and
John,
dig it
can I
yourself.
throw out one
is
last
that
Yeah,
you can
question?
do that. I mean, if you can, as a private
What's our end date
person do
for
it.
if
Okay.
electricity isn't done, we don't do the,
If we don't spend that money,
not spend the money, I mean, we're looking at if we don't have power and lights and everything for the ice rink, I'm asking, is it safe for us to even open?
Yeah.
well, I think you'd be able to open it during the day, but you'd
Yep.
have to shut it with Moni when,
Okay,
Duh.
so can we pick like an end date, like if we don't have the electricity done by X date, we need to make that decision so we can let the town know.
well,
this
lots
is gonna
depending
be
on
our
the weather is the
expectation.
trouble, depending on how cold it gets, how fast.
Yep.
But certainly, I
I
would
think
want
it's
to see
safe
it
to
before
say
Christmas.
that we'd be open before Christmas.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say.
If the weather's cold.
3 weeks or so, latest? Sounds good.
Now, are we gonna try to get, I mean, we may not be able to get the poles done, but if we couldn't get the poles done, are we able to mount anything off the corner of that shack in terms of lighting? Because the power's going to be in. I'm going to assume that the power's going to be in.
As far as getting poles put in, right, at this point, if you guys are talking about overhead lighting, you're talking about some sort of a base of foundation, some sort of cement pad that you bolt these things to, so it illuminates the thing like it's supposed to, like a parking lot.
Yeah.
And at this late in the season, you're not gonna get anybody that's gonna have time to do that.
Nobody's gonna do it now.
And the
It's too
ground
late
is
to do the
freezing
poles.
as we speak.
That's not a problem for a long time,
Buttoning
but
up their
Well,
jobs.
just open the rink during the day.
it's
We're gonna
it's
have
not
to
gonna
open during the
happen.
day on the
Saturdays
weekends.
is, yeah.
People don't have time before winter to get that kind of thing done.
Okay.
Those aren't just driving a pole in the ground, hanging a light on it. That's a
Yeah.
structure with a 3x3 pad, bolt it down. Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
it's
More
not a
trenches
major
and-
thing, but it is a project more so than having a party in front of the house and drive a stake in the ground and we got a floodlight that's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say that we're not doing
Not gonna
that, and we're
happen.
just going to
We're
open
gonna
it
have
during the day.
electricity hopefully in the snack shack so that we can make hot cocoa.
Yep.
And some lights inside the snack shack. And I think any exterior lighting should be on hold until the spring, so we can do it right.
Okay, I would agree with that. Everybody in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, cool. So there's that.
Every week.
Dealt with. Who's going to be liaising in terms of getting the code enforcement down to look at the power before we fill? Chris, you handling that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I just have one more note about that, and then I know we need to move on, but if you could try to get him out there this week, or within the next week or two, because we are going to start getting snow one right after another, and I really don't want that trench to fill up with snow with the conduit in there and these
I'll
guys
call
with
him.
sand.
Is he open tomorrow?
Huh?
I'll leave a message. Tomorrow night? I'll leave a message for
Thank you.
him.
Okay, perfect. Next on the list was tree lighting.
With that, because how everything, with the committee and just getting bigger, it was just kind of late in the game to kind of take that on. So I'm just helping aside with Jenny Gore, who did it every year. There's been stuff posted on, just kind of how Jenny Gore and her sister run it every year, pretty much doing the same thing.
So the committee isn't officially involved in any way, the rec's not officially
Not really,
involved
but
in it?
if, we're always looking for volunteers, if people want to help
Some-
out. All the volunteer stuff is posted on Facebook, on,
There's signups that, I don't know if the rec, they're looking for people to do pop-ups. I don't know if the rec
Yes.
committee wants to do a pop-up as a committee,
Yeah.
and have some sort of a Christmas sports theme type thing. I know that Lori's not gonna be around, but, I don't know if anybody else wants to do one.
What's the timing on it? I mean, it's only a couple of
It
weeks.
starts at 5,
next
and
Saturday,
then
right?
there'll be like crafts 5 to 6,
I
stuff
think we're
like that in
talking
the
a
hall.
bit.
It's too late.
It's too late
I
in the game
forgot
for
it's
us to
so
do it.
early.
Yeah.
Next
Chris and I are
Saturday.
doing one.
All right, okay,
So we
you
can
guys.
dedicate it to the rec.
There you go.
We're
So-
doing a game,
You
so,
got your shirts for you.
Okay.
yeah. we can do
Thank
that.
you for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Next year, we'll start in
plan that.
January and be ready.
So the day after.
Right, next on the list is adopting guidelines for sports, which I know Lisa wants to speak about.
So I know that, like for basketball, we were able to find some, like Pee Wee sports guidelines on the NBA website. And I'm working on finding some for baseball. It's not as easy as I thought it might be because most of the guidelines that I'm finding are for Little League, which we are not. So I'm trying to see if maybe there's something on MLB.com that we could find. But my goal is to, for every sport, have these guidelines so that we're not going into it wondering, oh, should they be playing with 90-foot bases or shorter bases? We'll have it all written out. We can adopt them. I think tonight would be a great night to take a look at the ones that we have from the NBA and vote on whether or not to adopt those as a rec and just say moving forward, these are our guidelines for our basketball seasons until future notice because we're voting. And I'm gonna find them online for baseball and I can find them online for soccer, but we can look at them and choose to adopt them as they are, make some small changes or not. But I think that we need to have some sort of guidelines from some place other than the Acton Rec.
Yeah.
someplace
No, I would-
bigger.
I would agree.
I didn't realize that I'd be handing these out to everybody tonight, and I don't think I
sorry.
have, that's okay. I just don't
Maybe you
have
could
enough
just pass it
copies.
around.
Are these just for baseball?
These are basketball,
Basketball.
and basically, this is the NBA youth guidelines, and they're broken up into 3 groupings, ages 7 and 8. It didn't go lower than age 7, but let's be honest, kindergarten basketball is like herding cats. I mean, it
Really
really
cute
is.
cats.
It's adorable, but if you can keep them on the court
Yeah,
and
they've done
dribbling
really
the
good,
ball,
actually.
you're like the
Genius.
best coach, you know what I mean? So,
done.
I don't think, but for 7 and 8, that's our 1st and 2nd grade age group. Some of them are 9, which pumps them to the next one, but honestly, if you saw these kids play, this is good. This is a good guideline for them.
But this is how we decided
but this
what
is
height
what
the hoop
I
should
had
be,
Lisa help
how
me.
long the distance of the court should be. Perfect.
Lisa and I sat down before the, like, because what it was it, like, I got this on Thursday and basketball practice started on Tuesday. So I didn't have much time to figure out what I was going to do as the liaison. So Lisa and I found these and we kind of talked about them, went over them. I was like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So basically, you know, it goes over the size of the ball, distance of the free throw line, if there's 3-point, arc, or the length of the court, the height of the baskets, and this
It's
is
like
all.
literally every
it's
question you could
everything,
think of is
The
answered
only
there.
thing that we don't follow from this is, for the beginning of the game, this talks about a coin toss. We do a coach throw up in the air tip-off instead. But the rest of it, we're following pretty closely. First and second, kindergarten first and second are playing half court with, how many feet is that lowered net, Chris?
7.
7?
Should only be 7, 7-2, 7-4, 7-5.
Yeah, that's what it is, it's low. And then the next group, the third and fourth, it could be either or half court because those kids are like half in this age range.
Right, yeah, they split.
And so that's another thing. They used to put the teams by age instead of grade, the old rec in Acton, because of the guidelines were by age, not by grade. So you kind of, you got to go either way. So like I said, for first and second, I went to the younger way. Third and fourth, I leaned towards the older guideline of a full court. We don't count a 3-point shot as 3 points. And the reason for that is we were on the fence about it, and I've been working with the coaches at those 2 levels, and we've kind of gone back and forth about it. But if the kids know that they're going to get 3 points instead of 2 if they shoot from half court, every time a kid gets the ball outside that 3-point arc, instead of passing it, they're trying to hit a 3-point shot. And it's not teaching them a darn thing,
Let's be honest, most
And
people.
let's be honest, the chances are slim to none that they're gonna make it. And their teammates are like, why did you shoot? And it's like, it ends up a big thing. So we're not counting a 3-pointer as 3 points, so that discourages them from, they still do it, but not as often. Because they know they're not getting that extra point. And, so there are some people that were upset that I had the first and second graders playing from a half court, but I did a lot of research. And if a child is expending energy to go the full length of the court before they physically should be running back and forth then they're expending their energy on that, and they will not learn the skills of dribbling and passing because they get tired and then they're not as focused. They're weak, they can't.
Plus it's late at night.
And it's not good for them. And so I'm holding strong to that. Will I let them play full court like the last game? Probably. But, up until that point, I just don't think it's a good idea. And the coaches all agree with me, which is surprised to me a little. But they do. They all agree with me. James does feel that the last game or 2 should be full court. And then I said I'm more than open to that because your second graders are going to 3rd grade and full court next year anyway. So that's kind of what
So are these guidelines, online that we can just?
Yes, they're the NBA youth guidelines.
And do we know if sorry, John, do we know if those are the same guidelines that the teams we're playing against are following?
So I've talked to Limerick and I've talked to Shapley. I have not talked to, and these are coaches, because I don't talk to the same people that Bridget talks to. But the coaches are very much in the same way as we are as far as how do you, every one of them is like, how do you want to do this?
Yep.
We don't know what to do, you know, and it's like, okay. And you just kind of laid them out, you know. We did put tape down for half, Chris helped me out with that, for half court, and that really helps a lot to have a center line on that half court.
It would be my hope that moving forward, if we're able to vote on these kinds of guidelines and adopt them, that we could go into our season saying, hey, these are our guidelines.
Yep, I think it's good.
We're all gonna use the same ones. Huh?
Into the next season.
Next season.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, going into the
already,
next
so.
season, yeah, like
Yeah, in all
baseball.
fairness, you know, Thursday to Tuesday is really hard to come up with a basketball program.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really no, yeah, you can't really.
We can start
No,
with
you can't.
spring sports. and-
Yeah.
We could,
But we'd like to
Great
look at the
idea.
spring sport, that's what Lisa had said, if we could start
Yeah, if I
now.
can find something for baseball, we can adopt that, we can go into whatever team we are gonna be playing, whatever town, and just say, these are our guidelines, these are the ones we're gonna follow, and can we all be in agreement here?
Well, maybe
Why
we
not
could
go with the
look at it
Little League
over the
guidelines?
next.
So the Little League guidelines are about that thick
I was gonna say, that's
per grade level.
very serious, yeah.
And they're things that are completely irrelevant to us because we're not a Little League. If we wanted to be a Little League, that would be something we could do. I don't know how open the committee would be to looking into that. It's not an easy process, I know that. But
competing
it's something
against
we
Sanford
could
as
look
well.
into, and that would open up more.
I think if
towns
we're
to
gonna
play
do
against.
the Little League thing, we need to look at the town first and who from the town's going
Yeah,
to.
Little League's a huge
Do
commitment,
it
there's lots of
through
rules,
here.
paid
Yeah, let's
coaches
get
and
As opposed to
the
going
town-
to
different
Sanford.
things.
Act and rec under
Yeah,
some good guidelines and then go from there and decide whether you want to go on to bigger and better things.
That would be a lot for you guys to take on.
Right.
It
That's
is.
Awesome,
why
no, I mean, that's what I
It
do.
used to be Acton and Shapley.
I think,
Mousam Valley Little League,
It was
yeah.
just Acton Shapley, or was it, we were Acton?
I think it-
at the time.
we have a hard time getting volunteers just for our rec stuff. You, to imagine trying to do any kind of a Little League thing, that's very serious baseball. They take it very serious.
Yes, they do.
That would be a huge commitment.
So if we're,
I would be interested in, but
if we're going to adopt, or even think about voting on adopting these guidelines, we ought to try to get the
I can,
web address for it or something and look it up before the next meeting, and at least then we can make a vote on it and say, okay, yeah, let's get it in place.
You on that, Lisa?
So, yes, absolutely. That's something else I was hoping we could do at this meeting, totally off subject, but I was hoping we could get email addresses for everyone.
Oh, yeah, can I I made.
Totally off
Okay,
topic.
So that's yours, or well, if this isn't, and then there's a vice chair,
Doesn't matter, I'll take
whatever
either one,
works,
doesn't matter.
treasurer, and I'll go really, really quick, guys.
Is that just the general
most
one?
of them, we've had 5 people, she's gotta make
So I wrote notes, so before we leave tonight, so the first would be, and I'm secretary, so I'll type everything up. Here's the thing, we'll pass that around with emails, keep going,
Committee
yep,
once we
there you
can
go.
put it down the other end of the table.
So I have all the names down, so I'll type that up, and then I'll give that to you next meeting. Because we're just all gonna grow as a group here, so I
Yeah.
figure all of us have a binder, we'll all grow. Calendar of events, important dates, when sports start, and cleanup, check equipment, upcoming events, calendar events are very important. This is all an outline of Shapley's. Budget. This is big with the treasurer. I don't know how you guys want to do this, but I feel like with the treasurer and Chris, so we'll see, actually I have one. I'll give this to you. This is from June. What's up?
I think she had that.
Okay, so this is what the,
Yeah.
looks.
This is what we were at the end of the year, and this is our working budget, not our,
Just an example of like.
our, capital improvement fund. So I think our capital improvement fund, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, $46,000
Change.
and some change in our capital improvement fund. So that money is, you know, it has to be something that qualifies as a capital improvement, which is something, you know, there's all sorts of definitions on what counts as a capital improvement, but basically it's a permanent,
Like our lights.
like at lights, something that's counted as an asset. Our operating, we started the year, this is at the end of the year, right? Before, is that what this is?
I haven't really looked
It
at it.
says
Saw
at the end of the year, this says fiscal year end, and there's something circled that says $8,930 that we ended the year with.
There's usually a date on it.
There is at the top.
June 25th. So maybe we can get an updated one from Michelle.
I'll get it updated. That was just kind of like what, within the budget.
Can
so-
she get detailed so that, is there a detail, like at work, I can print,
Like an
like each
expenditures?
line item, you can see what the expenditures have been? And like how much money we've brought in for registrations, how much money we've
Yeah, I've
spent
definitely
on,
seen that
like
before.
miscellaneous items. Okay, like, last year we spent $5,000 on
I'll talk to Michelle tomorrow.
a really detailed report.
I think we had one at one time.
It should
We
be
definitely had
multiple
one.
pages.
Yeah, we definitely,
Yeah.
there's been
Yeah.
one before.
But I just want to say real quick so I can go through the rest. Between the treasurer and Chris, I think they should have those copies in their binder and then welcome to pass around the table to show people, and then they can keep that into their, so we don't have to really print out one for everybody. I think that should just be between Chris and, but welcome to, you know.
And at the beginning of every meeting, I'll just
Yeah.
give a little report,
That's,
like.
yeah.
John, it's called the expense distribution report, if you're asking for it.
That's what I was asking for, the detailed one.
Okay, and then next would be all our spring sports. I know we had, I mean, I wrestled, we were just talking about this, T-ball, baseball, I did softball, volleyball, so that would be like all our spring sports. Everything that goes in there, what we need, sports checklist, because we all need that checklist beforehand, because how everything gets so crazy. What we need, equipment, and then, you know, that'll be all our notes for that. What you talk to Chris about, what we need, and then we'll go to, you know, the hall. Same with soccer, so we have all that. Same with basketball, coaches, schedules, all that stuff. I have some schedules started with basketball in here. We have fundraising in here for like bake sales, all fundraising ideas, etc. Contacts would be coaches, ref, picture people, sponsors, etc. We'll all build that, and this is stuff that I can type up at each meeting. I'll write down and I'll hand it out, so it can all be in here. Forms would just be every T-ball form, volleyball form, just in case, you know, somebody needs a form, health forms, all that stuff. So it's our binders to keep, and then we'll build as a committee.
Looks good.
And I think, you
So
know,
we need,
whoever we ever pass it on to.
Lori and CW, will you share a binder, or do you each want
Yeah,
your own?
one's fine.
That's what I was thinking.
So we need one for Brittany, one for Brian.
And
Because they don't work together. So Brittany, Brian.
There's one there.
And then there's one here.
So here's one for Brittany, I mean for Brian.
give you a good deal.
That one can go to Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Okay, and then Chris and I can share one.
And this, we just need one for
So just
Brittany.
Jolene and Brittany.
Yeah.
JoJo and Brittany, and I do have, I just didn't have binders, but I do have them made up in here, so if we're okay with next meeting, I'll make it up in a binder.
So there's a couple of things that I just want, maybe the committee can think about before the next meeting. Is the winter sports.
Okay?
Because basketball ends, you know, middle of January, and baseball doesn't start until spring. So we've got months where we're not offering anything other than the ice skating.
What would be traditional for winter sports? Obviously, it's not the easiest state in the world to use,
I know.
unless it's ice hockey.
We
So-
have the ice skating rink and
We have the
I
ice skating rink, and we're,
There's
and
tubing.
we're talking about a winter carnival and tubing. But I just want everybody to kind of think about when we're gonna do those things,
Okay,
because I don't want to do it last minute and lose track.
And I put it out there that Sanford's baseball signups start in January. So we might want to put something out there, just letting people know that maybe are new to the town, that baseball, you know, this is what we're going to offer for spring, maybe after the new year. Put something kitschy out there, like, when it gets warm, remember Acton offers X, Y, and Z. I need to put my name on that.
Yeah, that's good. That's early. When is the basketball one?
So we'll,
So
Lisa, you gonna email us with the guidelines, and then next meeting we can.
Yep, I'll email
vote on
you the ones from the MBA, and I'll find some more pertinent for baseball and for soccer, and
Yeah,
then
soccer,
we
there's an
can-
American soccer, youth
Yeah,
soccer one,
there
I
is,
see.
yeah.
Do you want me to send the NBA ones? Because I've, you know,
Do
now.
you have it in?
Yep,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
then I can go on and mark it up.
Okay.
Can you go by the
For their guidelines.
Little League, but
about
tweak
it?
it
So
so
we
it's not
can,
so,
yeah, we
especially if
can.
we're even thinking about possibly going down that road sometime? Might be
Yeah,
worth
we
it.
can, we can.
So Chris just mentioned that we could reach out to Sanford and find out what guidelines they're
I have.
following.
For
You have-
SSYA.
I have reached out to Sanford.
For
There's-
baseball?
For baseball.
For
Yes,
all
that's why-
sports.
Okay.
For all sports.
So I know
I have
that,
the contact person and he sent a few
Outside of Little
little
League, there's
things.
also Roger Allen in Rochester, and there's Farmington 500, and they're great contacts.
so I know that Sanford uses the Little League because they are Little League, they have no
Right.
choice. But I think we could, like Lori was saying, use the Little League, but just like take out things that don't make sense for us. Because we can essentially, we're a committee, we can make our own guidelines. We just need something to say, listen, it's based off from this, we didn't just pull it out of thin air.
And the other thing to check on is whoever you're gonna have, if you're gonna have umpires for the sport, see what they follow for guidelines too, because you wanna make sure they're, you know, putting out the guidelines that we're following too.
Yeah.
Rules and stuff. I don't know how you, I mean, I don't know if you really do umps or if you just do parents.
I know that when we figure out who the baseball liaison's gonna be, that'll be up to them, but I personally would like to start using umpires.
For all grades?
Yeah, it's good for them to learn that there's somebody behind the plate saying things to them and, you know, oh, that was a good ball to hit, or it wasn't a good ball to hit, or,
What about with the child sign up? The parent has to do something, like either do
An hour in the concession.
an hour in
or something.
concession of umpire or something along with that. And, I mean, we have 50-something people.
when
I mean,
it
that's-
comes to the umpiring, I would want
Yeah.
it to be somebody who's experienced. I would like for it to be somebody who's certified,
Well, of
but let's
course,
be
I love
honest,
it.
in Acton, that might not happen.
Right.
But in making it mandatory for parents to do something, I don't love that feeling because I work every other weekend. That gives me 2 weekends, 2 games a month, which, maybe 4 games the whole season I'll make it to. I don't want to have to devote time during my kids' 4 games, my 4 games I get
Well,
to do something.
Not
for the-
necessarily has to be your kid's game, but it could be the game after your kid's game.
Right, but I only have those 4 weekends
I think we put it out there as a volunteer.
as a volunteer thing,
If we
and
don't
please,
get enough,
and
then
we'll
we
talk
need
it
to-
up more.
And what I have found is on those forms, there's a box that says, will you volunteer? Out of the 60 kids that are playing basketball, 2 moms said they'd volunteer at the concession stand, but if I go up and start talking to them, I can usually get somebody.
I think having the liaisons in place now is going to make that volunteer thing a lot easier. It's a
I
lot
think
harder
so.
to say no when somebody's face to face
Yeah.
than it is
And the
ticking a
other thing
box.
is-
I mean, that's why I went to the school tonight, to get somebody to sit with the team on the bench. You know, the coach had asked, nobody did it, nobody stepped up, and I had sent an email, nobody came forward, but then when I sat there face to face with them all, they jumped, it was like, oh yeah, sure, not a problem, that face to face really makes a difference,
And then the other thing we can do is
unfortunately.
pass around that sign-up form, and, don't say you have to, but just say, here you go, sign up for something,
Okay, everybody's, looks like time's running out on us. I don't think the .9, I think we're kind of getting to grips with what everybody's roles are now and how that's going. We can look into that next week more. The baseball equipment is kind of important to go through that.
Yep, so, what we had for baseball equipment at the shed, at the storage shed at the field, most of it had to go. I know that there's some other equipment elsewhere, but we need to go through that and inventory it.
Or is it over at the gym?
Yeah, and I got softball stuff because I wanted to start the softball thing. So I have a catching equipment and stuff like that that would also work for a junior in baseball and stuff like that. It's nice. We can order more of that.
Yeah, the little sticky.
But
Sticky for the sticky.
we get on that, we can
We should definitely inventory it
now,
and figure
like,
out
like,
what we need to
soon.
get.
I don't,
Yeah.
way before the holidays maybe, well, not Thanksgiving, but.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the new totes that we've just voted on that said they're gonna come, so when they come, it seems like a good time to
Yes, I
inventory
agree.
it when we move them across, yeah?
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so it's just, we have to figure out what we need. I think we're gonna need more than we think we need, and it's probably gonna cost more than we think it's gonna cost.
Yes.
And it's a good idea to have your rules for baseball
Yes.
prior to that, because
Yep.
then you'll know what you need for approved bats. Joe just said Cal Ripken is another good one to look up online.
Yes, I
Most
did
towns are
look that
switching
one up,
from
yeah.
Little League to Cal Ripken,
Yes.
it's easier.
Okay, so, we should have those totes in the next week or so, right?
Yep, I'll order them.
So then maybe you could
I'll
shoot
put
an
them,
email.
how about I take a picture, put it on the rec committee page, I'll give a thumbs up, I'll get them in, or just order them?
The totes?
Yeah, just order them.
Can you order, one of the things that was said
How
on the
many
rec
totes?
cleanup day was to get the name brand, even though it's a little more expensive.
And
you know,
lockable.
The Rubbermaid.
Yeah.
Rubbermaid, yep.
And
Okay,
lock
how
them
many?
with the locks
With
on
the
them.
snaps, like.
Yeah,
The
with
snaps, so
Five?
the mice don't go in
If you
them.
start out with 5, and then
Okay.
if
We
we
can
need
go from
more,
there.
but there's no sense in buying more than we need.
Okay, so,
But I know like the one that the basketball shirts are wearing is gonna go in my dumpster, because it was broken on 3 sides.
Okay.
so the moment we get that, we'll just set a date when a couple of us go down and inventory it and move it across.
Absolutely.
Perfect, okay, great.
John, I know you guys are about finished, finished up here. Now, just, there's 2 things I'd like to say, then I'll interrupt again. One very important thing that this committee needs to do is draw up a set of bylaws to what the committee is supposed to be doing. We just went through this on the planning board. They hadn't been updated for, I don't know, 15 years or whatever, 20 years, I don't know. And we just went through that. And it really clarifies the role of the committee and what you guys' responsibilities are. I mean, like you were talking tonight about Chris. He is the director. Okay? He should be doing whatever the committee votes or the townspeople vote. It's his responsibility to make sure that this stuff gets done. Okay? You or me shouldn't be contacting anybody. Chris should be dealing with this and making sure it gets done. Okay? Jennifer, when she says no, most times, it's because the selectmen have told her no. I'm not saying it's every time, but most times, she's doing stuff under the direction of the selectmen. So when things aren't done quite often, it's because somebody in the selectmen's office is procrastinating. And everybody gets frustrated all of it. Myself personally, I mean, I'm very upset that electricity wasn't up in that rec field and running at the end of July. But there's absolutely no reason why it wasn't.
Sure.
The other thing is, I want to apologize to the committee because Carol talking so much is inherited. And it really isn't her fault.
And there it goes.
I think I apologize.
You start off so serious.
It takes a turn real quick.
Yep. Thank you for that, though.
Thank you.
Very important. The end part, no, thank you for, thank you.
So with
When
that
does-
being said, do we set up a whole meeting just to do bylaws?
Or just
And
listen to
who,
Carol and me.
The thing about the bylaws in this committee's defense is that we've been talking about bylaws for a long time. And like when you do the planning board bylaws, you had something to go by. I personally, when I was working with Bridget and Chris this fall, you know, Chris and I were talking about bylaws, Lisa and I and stuff. I think you even, we had this conversation. I called Wakefield, Shapley, Sanford, like all these towns, because it's
Nobody
very hard to just pull bylaws out of the air.
yeah, but shouldn't bylaws be somewhat similar from board to board?
I actually gotta
No.
get going. Sorry.
So,
Talking about.
Partially.
I mean,
Certain
from a
parts.
base to start from,
I gotta go.
and then go from there.
So get the bylaws like that the planning board has and kind of see
Or
what.
okay, well,
For
that
the
maybe
next-
have your
Yeah.
dad
I
sit
can write it
into a
down.
meeting and go through those with us, and then.
We
All right,
certainly
can we
can't do
just
that
set a meeting
tonight.
date and
Yeah,
then
that's the
adjourn?
major thing, the next meeting date. So I think we should be doing it certainly right now. more recently.
Bylaws will be on the
So
next
too.
agenda.
So 2 weeks?
Yep.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
What
day?
What week does that bring us to?
It's working.
The first
gonna be
week
the-
of December or last of November?
Last week in November, right?
28th.
Okay, so,
As committee members, you guys can sit down, amongst just yourself, and say what you think the responsibility of the committee should be. And then we'll everybody bring in their ideas.
Yeah,
Then you just hash it out from there.
building it together, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
a
we'll
good
come to the
idea.
next meeting prepared with some
We're
bylaws.
acting, you know, like we're gonna build it together. I feel
So what
like.
days are you free? Because I know
so
we
that
talked
week,
about.
I'm available Monday, Thursday, Friday.
Kind of use as a basis.
Can't do
We're not Thursday, that's way
Do
too.
Friday.
Thursday's Girl Scouts.
Mondays?
Can we do
Monday,
Monday?
the 26th?
Monday 26th?
Does that work
Can
for
we
you
do
with our
6 instead of
Thursday?
7 or not?
And you
Yeah,
have
but
this?
that's okay, it's done
Oh,
by.
6 to 7, yeah, okay, yep.
So Monday, the 26th at 6?
That's 7.
You can't do
these-
6?
You can't do Monday at all?
No.
On Monday
And you
after
can't do
Thanksgiving.
weekends. Yeah.
Do it with one person.
Pushing it, but
If you're okay with that, it's up to you.
I mean, I've kept him in line the whole time. That's someone else.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I can.
So when is it?
Send
Monday
some
what?
Monday 26th at 7?
Yep.
They are voting on Monday, though.
Say that again?
So,
November.
Do you,
I'll see if I can, but I don't.
can you do an absentee vote?
Yeah.
You don't know
I
that.
don't know what we're talking about here.
It's like any other election.
Our next meeting, because we have to vote for.
Oh, okay.
We probably
Again.
can't do absentee. We'll have to check with Jennifer.
I would just go back and forth until you get.
Yeah, we'll work it out, it's, we'll get there in the end. So Monday 26th, 7 PM. That's perfect. The only other business I've got is Willow has asked me if we can get this community service thing signed.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we need to vote
Yeah.
on those, just you
Somebody
need
besides
somebody
you.
other
I
than
need
you to
I'd put
sign it.
somebody other than me. They won't believe it.
It's community service hours.
oh, for
It's
high school.
For the high school.
They can do that.
Oh,
High school
absolutely.
kids.
Okay, I had asked that last year, and there was a reason why I don't know what the reason was, but that we
We
could.
adjourned?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I move to adjourn until the 26th.
yeah, then
Second.
it's replaced.
Thank you.
You guys?
What is it? I'm sorry.
Today's the 14th.
The 26th.
26th.